They beat the Knicks last night in overtime in a game that, well, honestly, I have a hard time caring about. I like that they beat the Knicks because I like beating the Knicks. I cannot stand the Knicks, and I really can't stand their fans more than anything. But these games mean absolutely nothing for the Celtics right now. That game last night meant absolutely nothing.
Imagine being Joe Mazzulla standing in front of them, and you're doing your little pregame thing, and you're trying to talk to them. It's like, what's the ultimate message here, Joe? Like, we're playing out the year. Not to say he's in a tough spot there, but I think it was good last night because Tatum hit the three, put it into overtime. Like, you're going to need shots like that, especially when you get into a tough series. And I don't know how far they go without Jaylen Brown if he can't go without a knee, with the knee issue. And I know he's played through it here, and they're probably shutting him down here at the end, and I would too. I wouldn't play him until the damn playoffs. You know, you almost have to handle him sort of like Porzingis there in that first couple games, and then you turn him loose. But I think he'll be fine. You got a lot, like I said the other day, guys like Pritchard, Cornette, they're all playing, they're getting good minutes, and they're not going to panic like in other situations in past years where you put these guys in at the end of big games and they can't shoot, they can't score, but this team can score all around. And
so
I got faith in them.
To go back to Jaylen Brown, he said last week that time off is not going to help it.
That scares the hell out of me.
That time off is not going to change the issue. Watching him play the way that he did, I think it's definitely impacting him.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that to me has become obvious. And I think what he's saying just might be simply the truth. He might be able to rest right now and shut it down and not play in the final, what's it, 3 left?
Yeah.
And take a week and a half off here before the playoffs. And he might come out in game 1 of the first round and feel great. And then by the, midnight hour after that first game, all of a sudden his knee feels exactly the same way it did 2 weeks prior.
I hope.
I mean, can't that be the case where, he could rest it. Yes, it could feel better. And then he could go right back to having it feel the exact same way because he played on it. And what it requires will be some sort of cleanup procedure this coming off season. That's really the only thing that's going to fix it.
But that's what scares me because that tells you there's something more than just a sore knee. Because it's like, when you tear your groin, they tell you could play through it if you could tolerate the pain.
Right.
And then we'll reattach it at the end of the year. Hopefully this isn't like Robert Williams, where he looked great for a first half, and then, like you said, all of a sudden the soreness starts building up, and that was a meniscus he had coming off the surgery there. And so it seems like they forced him back, in the playoffs. But it scares the hell out of me that he says, I got to play through it. Because, you need that guy.
Though you do, it makes you nervous, but I also think if you can't make it worse, rather than rest, don't you kind of learn how to play with this?
But don't you gamble, though, on the rest?
And try to become as effective as you possibly can, knowing that you have to deal with this.
So playing through it right now would actually be a good idea to try and figure out how he's going to manage it. How are we going to manage the minutes?
Yeah.
How are you going to manage it as an individual when you're on the court so that it's less painful?
Do you have to change your game a little bit to be successful here?
Try out different braces that might help.
Rest.
I mean, all of it, right?
I'd gamble on rest. And I'd say
I don't know that I would.
It.
Well, the other part is if you rest, all of a sudden you take this time off, to get back into rhythm and fully up to speed. That takes time too.
Yeah, I think he's different. I think he's wired differently. He's a tough kid. He plays with that edge.
How many miles a game does Jaylen Brown run when he's out there? And then all of a sudden you don't run for all that time, and then you get back out there. It takes you a couple days. McCone will tell you he's a runner.
It's a grind zone.
It is, but the pounding on the court, aerobically, can he do something off the court? Like the bikes and stuff. I'd gamble on rest. Let's rest this thing for a week and a half just to see where the hell this thing goes. And maybe you feel great at the end of it. I don't know. But to continue to push through it like that, and that's going to be sore, and you're pushing that soreness, and it just becomes chronic for you. I'm worried, though, that he says there's nothing you can do about it right now. That tells you surgery's imminent, right? If it's a cleanup,
an off-season surgery, yeah.
They've done the MRIs, the X-rays, and all that, and they've looked at it, all the doctors, and you can't hurt this any worse, but we could take care of this at the end of the year when it's over. It's the way that feels, that type of comment. If you could tolerate the pain, play through it. It's like a torn groin.
Well,
Ouch.
His minutes were, 21 last night? He had 21 minutes in the game? 20?
He had 31 points the other day.
Somewhere
when
around
he was
there.
talking about when it was bad.
Yeah, but you can tell. You can tell it's hampered.
Oh, yeah.
He's not the same player right now. You think they're okay with him playing at 80%?
they'll probably be okay until they hit the finals. Eastern Conference Finals.
You need Tatum to play like an MVP caliber player throughout the postseason.
And Porzingis like last night. Yeah.
And Porzingis needs to stay healthy. And Drew Holiday needs to be Drew Holiday of last postseason. And
Derek White, be yourself.
Yeah. And you got a shot. I mean, I think you're a finals team. Do I think you can beat Oklahoma City if you're not 100%? I think that's a tough ask.
Can you get past Cleveland without him?
I think they can.
I do too. A series. We're talking a series, guys.
But I don't think
one game.
I don't think we're talking without him, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any risk of them losing him. What they're at risk of is instead of playing at 90 or 80%, all of a sudden he's playing at 60%. Like, that to me is the risk. I don't think they'll be without him. I don't think there's going to be a long stretch where you say, he misses the Cleveland series.
Right, but is he your best player on the court like he was in the Eastern Conference Finals in the finals last year?
Hard to see that happening right now.
Right.
But the good news is they have the guy you just mentioned. They have Jayson Tatum. It is all lining up for Tatum to be the guy in this run. Last year was Brown's run. This year is going to need to be Tatum's run. And they need Porzingis. We've been saying that for months.
Yeah.
They absolutely need him to be available.
It's there for Tatum for him to take it, too.
It is.
That's the one thing you want to see him do.
This is no excuse for them to not win.
No, I agree with you.
No.
Okay, we agree on that.
No.
So if he's at 80%, 60, whatever the hell it may be, they still have a good enough team, and they have the experience to be the team that is there at the end.
I agree, and I think the secondary bench scoring is so much better again. Like, that's you're getting guys that are getting quality minutes that should be ready to go if you need them in a pinch. And that's the Joe's got to get these rotations right. But in a series, they're not beating you. They're not winning 4 out of 7. No. Even without Brown. Partially. Like you said, 80%. 80% Jaylen Brown. Not going to beat him.
Well, I look at the field in the East, and I don't see a team that's going to beat them in the East. They, at a minimum, need to be in the finals.
I can't imagine being a fan of a team like the Knicks that go all in. You pushed all the chips in the middle of the and you're like, no, it's not good enough.
To what he said.
Your team's not good. You're not in contention.
I don't even think the Knicks could give him a real series.
No, I agree.
You remember the crowd?
If you want importance of last night in a game that doesn't matter, okay. Hey, we still don't believe the Knicks could give them a series. We didn't believe that before last night's game. We don't believe it now. They're not even going to give them a series. I love that. Oh, I love that because I hate them.
I'd love to have it. I'd love to have them.
I hate their stupid
because
fans.
of the angst. Wait, remember those fans last year?
Oh, I hate them.
We want Boston.
Yeah, do you?
We would do you?
You sure you want that?
Yeah. Well,
I can't stand them. Can't stand them, McCone. They think they're like basketball royalty.
Great series.
Yes.
Like that they've got this great storied franchise.
No,
it's like, guys, you don't.
What's their building? It's the Garden. It's Madison Square Garden. It's big time. It's in the Big Apple.
Yes, the building is big time, but what's gone on there from an NBA perspective, not so much.
Did the Red Sox ever act like the Yankees before they started winning World Series? Right? It was like, no, we know we haven't won anything in nearly a century. We're aware. Yeah, we still hate you, but we don't act like we are, on the level
of the Lakers and the Celtics?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, give me a break. The Red Sox never acted like that.
No.
The Knicks fans act as if they are the Celtics, that somehow the achievements are like on the same level. I've never understood it. I don't get it. I don't get where that arrogance comes from the Knicks fans. So I hope they have an opportunity to beat their brains in the playoffs. Sure. That would be wonderful. Looking forward to it. We can only hope that plays out.
That'd be good for us. It's great.
617-779-0985. Concerns, yes, about Jaylen Brown. No excuse for them, even with Jaylen Brown being the contributor that he was last year, because I think we know that Jayson Tatum is capable of much more than what it is he did a year ago.
100%.
Now's his time. Now is his time. So I say grab it. We've got Celtics in the mix. We have more on that coming up, including Kendrick Perkins saying there's no one that can beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. No one.
Job, Perk.
They going to let him back into the Garden now that he said that?
And I was going to say, is that his way? Is that his pathway?
Yeah.
You guys are the best. JT's the best. Jaylen Brown's the best.
Get
New owner now.
We'll
too.
get Kimberly
Like,
Kimberly
maybe.
Chisholm. She might be the in here.
She's a peacemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting people together.
She could open up talks, and they could welcome Perk back into the family.
Yep, Trenny and Hardy.
Maybe she's kind of obsessed with him.
She might be. You never know. What's that face, McCone, you're making?
Carry Steve Kerr's water more for him, by the way. The dude. Oh, they won the gold medal? Wow. Team USA won the gold medal.
They could have won it with their backup.
Wow.
Yeah.
The burden of having to play a first-team All-NBA guy a few minutes in one of those games. I can't imagine.
that
I
medal
can't
means so much.
imagine
Yeah.
what Steve Kerr was going through there.
Stupid gold medal. No, it's about the NBA Finals. What were they so pissed off at the end of the Finals that he talked about? Or Perk was talking about. They were pissed off when they won it. What?
Am I taking crazy pills? Do we not remember the easiest path of all time? And the fraud championship and stuff like
Great
that?
parade. One guy gets the Finals MVP. The other one's carrying the trophy around. What's the problem?
People saying that it was the easiest path of all time.
But how many?
that's the problem.
Absolutely were disrespected in a lot of ways.
But how many times? How many times
Nationally.
has this team been to the final, the conference finals?
Doesn't matter.
How do you disrespect a team that's been there that often?
Tatum does not get his due as an NBA superstar.
That's the truth.
Okay, so that's valid.
It's one guy.
Okay, he's their best player.
Does he play? But does that piss him off? Does he play with the
No,
Knicks like
here's what I would say in response to that. Nobody looks at the Celtics and says, "Oh God, how the hell do you beat Tatum?" Nobody does that. You heard it even in what Perk was saying. Oh, they have to be healthy. He mentioned the health part twice, beginning and end. That no one will beat them if the Celtics are healthy. I've got a response to that and saying, why is it that nobody will beat them even if they're a little banged up? They're that deep. You just talked about how great everybody else on the roster is outside of Tatum and Brown and how they've all gotten better, whether it's Pritchard, whether it's Porzingis, is going to be healthy this time around, or you want to talk about Derek White and his contributions, not that he wasn't a big factor already. I don't know.
freaking Cornette's giving you good minutes.
Okay, so to say up and down they've gotten better depth and they've gotten better up and down their roster outside of your two stars, you should be thinking that even if Jaylen Brown misses some games, you're not beating Boston. They don't get that respect, and it's because they don't respect Tatum enough. And so it's not manufactured and it's not made up.
We did it!
Oh, boy.
You look at any other NBA team, and the first thing you land on with talking about can anybody beat them is their top dog and their superstar, and nobody does that on the national level with Tatum. Nobody does it.
He needs a hell of a run this year. Like, it's built to that. Like, he should be in the MVP
And Steve Kerr
conversation.
definitely could not afford to have played Tatum against South Sudan.
No, I don't know how you win that game with Tatum on the court.
How would they have done it?
I know. That's some
Impossible.
of the best basketball I've ever seen.
The blowout of Puerto Rico, how would they have?
Yep.
You can't do that with Tatum on the floor.
Different game. Yeah.
It changes everything.
I wish I would have watched 1 minute of those Olympics, man. That was some tough going for those guys. Tough going there. Stupid USA basketball. I could care less about that. The fact Windhorst even brings that up, like, it's about this team now.
No, but I think it's about the overall
NBA
disrespect for a guy coming off a championship like that. I'm telling you, and I think his personality has a lot to do with it too, because I think he's not very vocal like some other superstars in the NBA would be in that situation, and you can kind of get away with it.
I'd be more pissed Brown didn't get invited.
Yeah, there was
Like, it's the
disrespect.
combination of
Yes.
that. Both of them, yeah.
They are disrespected. Sorry, Windhorst. They're disrespected. They don't get enough respect. They're not feared. And so I'm glad that they let it fuel them. As Perk said, Tatum's pissed. He thinks he's pissed off. He thinks he's on some sort of mission. Good, because they need him this time around. They need him to be that guy. We're not sure that Jaylen Brown's going to be right. What a dramatic change from a week and a half ago when Grandy had it all over and done with, like they were the 09 Celtics with the Tatum ankle. Yes. Now it's the other guy. Now it's Brown who's dealing with something that's kind of chronic and probably far more important to where this team is going.
Achy knee.